Hi everyone! These are my text reflections for chapters 2 and 3. The first and second topics are from chapter 2, and then the last topic is from chapter 3. So going into topic 1, chapter 2 discusses classroom environments and how important it is for students to not feel intimidated by the math that they're learning. So these 5 aspects of a classroom environment are just things that students should be doing in class to make their math environment engaging and fun and a place where they are actually able to learn the math accurately. So they need that persistence, effort, and concentration are important in learning mathematics. Engaging in productive struggle is important in learning. That was mentioned in the textbook. The more students stays with the problem, the more likely they're able to get it. Also, I'm a big believer in math homework. I know that's probably bad, but I think practice with math concepts is key to finally getting that aha moment for them. And then getting a tough problem right leads to a stronger sense of accomplishment than getting a quick and easy problem correct. Also, students should be sharing their ideas. Everyone's ideas are important, and hearing different ideas helps students become strategic in selecting good strategies. As mentioned in the book, there are various ways to answer a problem, so being able to share those ideas out loud and seeing how someone else got the answer, even though they may have done it differently, could really help someone maybe understand the math better as well. And then students should be listening to each other, especially when they're explaining how they got an answer. So these two kind of overlap. All students have something to contribute, and these ideas should be considered and evaluated whether they will work in that situation. And then also, errors or strategies that don't work are learning opportunities. Mistakes are opportunities for learning because it enables students to understand exactly what they did wrong, and then they learn from that mistake. And when I tutor my students in math, they tend to make mistakes a lot, and I see whenever I correct them and I show them verbally and like how to do the problem, and then they get that aha moment and they're like, oh yeah, that's how you do it. I remember now. Things like that. And then lastly, students should be looking for and discussing connections. Students should see connections between different strategies to solve a particular problem, as well as connections to other concepts and to real world contexts and situations. Yeah, it's important for them to see how mathematics is important rather than isolate digits and collect facts. Then moving on to topic 2, technology-based tools. When I was reading about these in chapter 2, I was very fascinated by the National Library virtual manipulatives. To be honest, I don't think I've ever really heard of virtual manipulatives, so I was like, oh yes, this is definitely something that I'm going to use in my future classroom. So as stated in the book, technology provides another source of models and manipulatives. So the National Library of Virtual Manipulatives has a range of manipulatives available. Their virtual manipulatives are categorized by grade level and type of math. I'm going to quickly go to their website. So this is for grades 3, but there's so many different manipulatives to choose from. And then these virtual manipulatives are even accessible at home for students, so they're able to actually take these manipulatives, and if they do need help, they can use them at home. And then students with physical disabilities may be better able to work with these electronic versions as well. So that's really important in a classroom is accessibility, equitability. So I really like the idea of incorporating these technology-based tools into my classroom. In addition, I think calculators are great tools to have in the classroom. Students that I tutor currently, one student is a 6th grader, and she is not really allowed to use calculators in the classroom, but the math that they're doing, they kind of need it. That's how I feel right now, because they're doing decimals, but they've already learned how to multiply and divide them. Like they're doing stuff that they need to use calculators. So like when I have my own classroom, I will definitely encourage students to use calculators when necessary. But if we're talking about multiplication and division, then they should be able to do that by themselves. It just helps them get the math done and down quicker. And then other online math tools that I found on my own, because I started researching it, was Desmos, which is a graphing calculator. So this is what it looks like. And you would just type in y equals 3x plus 5. And then you would get your line over here. And then another website that I really liked was EDUC389, I believe that's how you pronounce it. This was a really cool website. There was a lot of manipulatives that you could choose from. I think students would easily be able to use these. So this is Unifix cubes, so students can build blocks of 10 and then subtract 1 and stuff like that. And this was also another great, these are great math apps on this website. So this is the Learning Center. These are the math apps. So there's a math clock, there's a geo board. Let's see, there's money pieces that students could use to manipulate with. There's a number chart, number line, number pieces, patterns and shapes. Just really cool math tools that students can use to their advantage. And then going back to this, yeah, those are definitely tools that I would use in my math classroom. And I'm super excited to use those actually. I think they're great ways to get students engaged and enjoy math. And then lastly, I want to talk about children's literature. So in chapter 3, it goes over this more in depth. What I learned was that children's literature is a rich source for problems at all levels, not just primary. So you could definitely use this in a high school format, but I do want to teach the younger kids in elementary school, so I would use them. I would use children's literature to engage them. So children's stories can be used in numerous ways to create a variety of reflective tasks. For example, in the story 2 of Everything, a Chinese folktale by Lily Toy Hong, which talks about algebra and patterns, students can be okay, so pretty much the story is about how this magic pot makes 2 of everything. So if you put 2 pieces of broccoli in, you're gonna get 4 out. So pretty much you're multiplying by 2, but say you want them to add 5 to whatever comes out of the pot instead. So if you put in 4 pieces of broccoli, you're gonna get 9 out. And if you put in 9 pieces of broccoli, you're gonna get 14 out. So students are able to really answer problems and do stuff like that from math lessons within books. And some other great books that I found online was Feast for 10, which has to do with counting, Elevator Magic by Stuart J. Murphy, which discusses adding and subtracting, and then Inch by Inch by Leolani, which discusses measurement and size. So yeah, I really like the idea of incorporating children's literature into my math lessons. I think it can engage my students and enable them to see how math is relevant in their everyday lives. So yeah, those are the 3 topics that I was able to learn from chapters 2 and 3. And I will definitely be using these strategies in my future classroom. Thank you so much. Goodbye.